I have a big HR fan base out there you hear from?
I've heard that there's a lot of people that are like, oh my god, my HR person's exactly like Pam, and so I made her start watching the show. So I'd say there's a good amount, not a ton, and a lot of people that are in HR, they're like, where can I get those puppets? So maybe a little bit.
So one of the best things about Pam is the fact that over the seasons, like, you know, her origin has been like peeled back layer by layer, like all these like weird seedy things she's involved with, like, you know, from like, you know, the dairy farm stories to, like, you know, the underground boxing, racing, stuff like that. Like, did Adam loop you in on any of that ahead of time, or is it really, have you just been, like, you know, discovering it script by script, like, oh, this is...
Yeah, I've been discovering it script by script, and I feel like when she first started, you watched the first season, and she's pretty tame. Like, she's just a regular lady, and then all of a sudden, it's just like, holy shit, who is this person? So I think that Adam started to just have a really good time with it and just started to go with it. So now every time I get a script, I'm like, I'll see what's going to happen this time. And I got to start writing the Twitter feed for Pam last season, which has been really fun. I was super nervous at first because, you know, Adam's so brilliant. I was like, I don't want to mess up all the stuff you've made. And so I sent in a bunch of tweets. I just like wrote the whole month and I sent them in to Matt Thompson to review. And he's like, these are all too dirty. And I was like, what? It's Pam! What are you talking about? But then I got to have some fun, and like Pam now is like, she's a bouncer at a strip club called Crammers, and she's got a cat named Mr. Meepers, and like all kinds of fun stuff. She's in a jug band, like stuff like that. So it's been really fun to explore that more, you know.
Pam and Archer as friends with benefits relationships. One of my like favorite stories.
Me too.
I was wondering, will we ever see more of that? Is it chance kind of been left?
I don't know, and that was one of the ones that I knew about before I got the script, because Adam was really excited, and I don't think he could keep it to himself. And he's like, all right, so this is coming up, and I was like, oh, excited. So I knew maybe like 2 scripts before that one that it was coming. So when I got the script, I was like, just reading it so fast. And then it kind of just petered out, but I think that it's one of those things that always has the potential to come back, especially if she wants to like use it against him in some way, which she would totally do. So I hope. It hasn't happened yet in the season 5 that we recorded, but I think it's coming.
Like 30 more seconds.
There's such...
With your character as the seasons go on, does it become easier to play because you know her, or is it hard to keep her fresh? And especially when you go so far out with this character, is it hard to like say, well, I have to go over that bar again?
I think it's actually been pretty easy to keep it fresh because that character, I'm really lucky, is so crazy. So there's always something new to do. Every once in a while, especially when we take the break before we come back to record our next season, Pam's voice has become more Pam. It sounded a lot like me the first season, and now it's become this like ridiculous sounding character. So every once in a while when I'll go into the booth, they'll be like, you gotta make it sound more like Pam. And I'm like, okay, all right, I gotta click into Pam. So yeah, that's the only thing really.
Is it tough to get into the the Pam mindset? Like, you know, is it more than just a voice as far as like,
Where does Aisha go from Marvel?
you know, or do you identify with her, or is it more like, you know, okay, like, you know, I've got to click and switch gears completely to
Yeah, I think I identify with her. I think that at my core, I wish I was more like Pam. Like, she just doesn't give a shit about anything. She doesn't care what people think. She doesn't care what she's wearing. She just doesn't give a shit. So I kind of wish that I was more like that. So when I go in, I usually I'm prepared because I've read the script and I kind of know what she's into that week. And I'm pretty physical in the booth, like especially because Pam eats so much during the show. So I usually have to take like a sack of nuts. Or like one episode we were recording. Oh, it was the one where she ate all the soy crab legs and had the allergic reaction. So I didn't know that I was going to be eating actually in the booth. And Matt was like, oh, this just doesn't sound right. You got to be eating something. So we went to the like little kitchenette at the studio and brought back a giant thing of cheese balls. So I'm just like shoveling cheese balls into my mouth, and my fingers were like orange, and the microphone had like orange spit all over. So disgusting. And I came out, and the script was all greasy and orange. It was terrible. Sorry, I don't even remember what your original question was.
Oh, actually, that was much better than just assuming answer.
Great. Oh yeah, so it's, you know, I get into her pretty easily.
Is there a favorite like Pam reveal as that backstory has kind of made from like the tattoo and fighting?
I loved finding out about her sister. I'm still really like interested in like who is his sister and why does she hate her so much. So that was a fun reveal. And all the Poovy Farm stuff I get really excited about. Like I want to know what it looks like. Yeah, that was my favorite. Because I want to.
Aisha?
I want to know why she hates her sister so much. And we were actually, I was talking to another guy, and we were talking about how it would be hilarious if we went to Bowie Farms, and I got to do the whole family's voices, and they all looked like Pam, like Nutty Professor style. So I got to tell him about that idea. I think it's really funny.
One of the coolest twists in the last season was that Pam's actually applying to try to become a field agent, which seems like a non sequitur at first until you realize that she'd actually make the perfect field agent.
Yeah.
So is that something that you personally hope we'd see develop in the future?
Yeah, I got really excited when I found out about it because it was kind of like there was like a rev up to it, and then we actually got to see it happen, and then it just kind of went away. So I was like, oh, I want Pam to be a field agent so bad. She'd be so much better than everybody else, and she just doesn't care. She's apparently indestructible. So I would like to see that happen more, but I don't know if it's going to. Because season 5 is so crazy. I know people have told you guys that it's going to be so different. So she'll be doing a lot of things maybe like she would be doing if she was a field agent, but she's not necessarily going to be one, as far as I can tell.